the box directions. This is the box, and I can't wait to play with this one in some other ways. But basically, you fold it on the score lines. It can be tricky. It's a heavyweight box, so just take your time. If you want a good crisp fold, use your bone folder. And I will probably go back and do that only because I think it'll close better. So there's that one. Here's this one. And I'm doing each one separately, so that way you don't, I don't screw it up. I have a tendency to do that if I try to do too much at once, so I just take my time. Fold this last piece in. All right, this has to be folded down. This gets folded down. This one's going to be tricky. I'm going to fold this piece first. And then I'll fold this one, and I'm going to kind of fold into the center of the box. Whoops. Dropped my bone folder. There. Now, then you take and what you're basically doing is you're kind of tucking in your flaps. So, all right, you want to fold in this, leave this piece open, fold that one, then these two, and then this goes down in the center, so you get a nice bottom like that. We have to take our ribbon, and we need to cut a 12-inch piece. They always give you more than you need, so you shouldn't have to worry about this. Let's see, here's my 12 inches. This grid paper is great for measuring because it's right there for you. All right. Then you're going to wrap it around your box, and you want to overlap your ends. But before you do that, you need to take one piece of your adhesive strips, of which I'm not certain where mine went. Do you ever have days like that? You got so much going on you can't find stuff? It seems to happen to me a lot. All right, give me a minute. Let me find it. Here, I'll go through piece by piece. It's here somewhere. I just have to find it. Well, I'm not certain what I did with it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out my tear and tape and put a piece of that on here. And then this goes on the box, and you wrap this around. Oh, I read it wrong. This is wrong. 21 inches. So I'll have to work on that. I was going to say, it seemed awful small, but that's okay. Here is 10 inches. And here is 11 inches. And I'll add my piece of tape, tear and tape on the back, like I did before. And I'll work on that other piece. I may change the box. Well, I will be changing the box. I have an idea I want to try, but I'll have to see if it'll work. And then you wrap this around. See, there's way more here than you really need. So I could have saved some. Overlap your pieces and then pick it up and use your hand to, and then that's not tight enough. I can tell you right now. So take it off and do it again. Okay, much better, much better. Okay, and I've got extra, so I'm going to cut it off. See, you probably could have cut it at 19.5 inches or even 20 inches and not had so much, because it doesn't really need to overlap that much. I don't know why they have you do it, but I guess they wanted you to be certain. So there's our little box. Now it's to go on that box, we're going to make a flower. So we're going to take the petals, and it says to curl the petals with a pencil. You can do the same thing with your bone folder if you're careful, but if not, grab a pencil and just roll it around. And go all the way in so you get a nice curl on it. And you need to do all three. Now, don't throw this away, because I'm going to be using this on some of my other cards. I will be sharing some other ideas with you. And my Paper Pumpkin subscribers, I have a private Facebook page where I post all my ideas, alternative ideas on that, so that they can see lots of different ways to use it. Okay, so there's two, and they say to curl the inside one more, so once you've curled it with your pencil, you can go back in and curl it some more. Now, see, that's why I wouldn't have used the pencil. I would have used something else. So I've got to be careful with that. Then now I've got to do this one. There's that. There's that one. That one. And that one. All right. This one I want to curl a little more so that they go together. You have 3 different levels of curls, really tight, a little looser, and loose. Okay. Then you're going to put the 3 dimensionals together and stack them. Since this is the top one, I'm going to use a dimensional on each side, and I have to put this one in the center here, and you want to kind of stagger it, so be careful, don't stick it down too soon. So there's that, and then this I will put dimensionals on the back too. And this one will get stacked here, and I'm going to kind of stagger it. So we have some nice petals going on there, and it's all set. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make the center. So you're going to take your center of your flower, and you have 3 of them, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I'm really going to need to use those strips, and I cannot find them, so I don't know where I've stuck them. So it says to take your pencil and to curl the edges of this, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to curl the edges just a little, work my way down with my fingers and hold it and curl it. Now some of you may not need to see this, but I know a couple of my ladies, when we go to put these together, it can be confusing. Okay, so now that I've got this curled, I need to put my adhesive strip. I'm going to use my tearing tape since I can't find my thing, and run it right along the edge. This might be a little thicker than the strip, so I've got to be careful and make sure I stay on the edge. And as in the past, even though it says tearing tape, I cut. I like a nice edge. Okay. Now we're going to take and we're going to start at one end and tightly roll this up. So you want to go as tight as you can, keeping this edge over here as straight as you possibly can. And if you'll notice, I'm folding it up with the curls inside. It'll be okay. Just keep it as tight as possible. Sometimes you can get it tighter as you go along. And see, I'm not as straight as I should be. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. And this says to put it in the center of your flower with a dimensional. See how tightly I've gotten it? I probably could have gotten tighter, but I'm keeping it really tight. I am not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pool of glue, that Tombow glue, and put it in the center, because I don't think the dimensional is going to hold this really well. See, it's not flat. If it's perfectly flat, you're okay, but it's hard to do that, to keep it straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue, I'm going to put it in the center, and then I'm going to stick this down in there, and I have to sit and hold it for a while until it gathers or grabs. And you'll know it will, because when you let it go, it'll stand up. Now this is going to take a while to dry, so I'm going to stop the camera, let it dry, and then I'll come back and finish up. Okay, if you remember, I put this together yesterday, and they said to attach it with a glue dot. I don't think the glue dot will hold, so I put some Tombow glue in the bottom, and it's in there pretty sturdy. So now I'm going to take, and I'm very carefully going to fold back these pieces so that it gives some dimension. And you're really going to have to push on it. That's the reason why I don't think the glue dot would work. You almost can cut it even smaller than this. And then just kind of separate it out, and just to kind of give it a nice center. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to attach this to your box, but you don't want to attach it to the box itself. You want to put it on the ribbon. This one you can use your glue dots or your pop dots for. I'm going to put on 2 like so. Take off the back, and then I'm going to push that down onto that ribbon. Actually, I can stick my finger underneath and really push on that. And then you just might need to fluff up that center of the flower a little bit. So now you're, if you can see, it's attached to your ribbon so that people can open the box without destroying it. The next thing that they want you to do is to make a tag. So I'm going to take punch out my tag. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to pull out my block, and I'm going to do it just like they did it. I'm going to use the With Love and this swirly thing underneath. So, to get this to line up straight, I'm going to put this on my grid paper using my lines to help keep it straight. And then I'm going to do the same with this, centering it and making sure it's even, putting my block down and pressing, and now it's set, ready to be used. I am going to ink up my sentiment and swirl and stamp it on my card, my tag. I'm going to put it down, give it a few minutes. You can almost see the ink transfer from the block to the paper, but you want to make sure it transfers well. So I give it a few seconds, pressing fairly hard, but not real hard. And I lift it up, and there it is. Now, the next thing we have to do is I have to clean my block and my stamps and heat set this. So I will do that and be back. Okay, I'm back. Now, our directions say to attach this with dimensionals also. So, I'm going to take my dimensionals, and at this point, I need to cut some because I've used up all my half pieces. So I'm just going to cut down this row, and I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put one here and one down from there. All right, take off my backing. Then I'm going to kind of gently lift my flower and stick my tag down. And as you can see, I have the 3 projects that they have directions for made. I'm going to take now and use the supplies and make some different cards. Wonder what it will be.